Hello, this is Bob from Native Instruments. In this video, we will show you how to trigger and record Machina section changes in Ableton Live. This allows you to arrange your tracks easily by recording in Ableton the section changes you trigger on your Machina controller. First, make sure your Machina controller is connected, and launch Ableton Live. Then, drag a VST instance of Machina 2 to an empty MIDI track and load your project. If you are a Mac user, it is important here that you load the VST instance of Machina 2 and not the AU instance, as the procedure will not work with AU. Now, click the cogwheel icon in the Machina header and choose MIDI Change. In the MIDI Change dialog, click the box Enabled under Section. Leave Trigger as MIDI Note and choose a MIDI channel that you know is not being used by anything else. Here we choose 16. Click Close to confirm these settings. Click the cogwheel icon again and check if Retrigger is enabled. In this example, we leave Retrigger mode off, as we will explain this to you later. Now select another empty MIDI track, and under MIDI From, choose Machina 2. In the drop-down menu below, choose Machina 2. Under MIDI 2, choose Machina 2. In the drop-down menu below, choose the MIDI channel you just selected in the MIDI Change window. As we set it to 16, here we choose 16 Machina 2. Now, set this MIDI track's monitor to auto and record enable the track. Bring up the Machina window again and pen the section mode on your controller. On Machina Studio or Machina MK2, you do this by holding down Scene and pressing button 1. On Machina Micro, you do this by holding down the Scene button and pressing Main. On Machina Jam, press the Song button so that it is lit. Now, when you record a MIDI clip in the track you set up, you will record the section changes you play on your controller. You can now play the MIDI clip to listen to the section changes you have just recorded. You can adjust the section sync setting to influence the trigger timing. Feel free to play around with different sync settings to see how Machina behaves. For example, you may not want a specific section to fire off immediately after a note is triggered. You might want to wait until the next bar. If that's the case, set the quantization value to 1 bar. You can think of this setting as a record quantization in case you want to fire your sections and record the notes on the fly. When Retrigger is enabled, the next section triggered will be forced to play from the start. This is useful if you want your sections to play from the beginning, regardless of what's happening elsewhere in the music or the timeline.